We have a brand new rumor that talks about when and how Marvel Studios plans to release the Avengers Doomsday official teaser trailer, and it does involve Spider-Man, and it is not going to be a teaser like we got the 4 teasers before that are about very specific things for Avengers Doomsday, but this will be the full official trailer. We also have a new report about Loki's involvement in Avengers Doomsday that is getting some fans kind of worried, making them worried that Loki might not survive Avengers Doomsday. But however, I don't think that's the case. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. A lot to go over, very important things to go over, but of course we'll start with the trailer news because recently it seems like Marvel and slash Sony have changed some of their plans for both of these trailers. It looks like they're trying to coordinate the best time to do these. It does seem like, according to reports, they did originally have plans to release it during the Super Bowl, but they changed their mind. But the recent rumor is that the first trailer for Avengers Doomsday will be attached exclusively to the theatrical release of Spider-Man Brand New Day in cinemas, just like it was for Avatar 3. Gotta say, it makes sense that they would do it again. It also makes sense that they would want to put it in the theaters attached to Spider-Man to go get people to watch Spider-Man. Now, I will say, this is kind of a better situation for us Marvel fans. If you weren't interested in Avatar, but you wanted to go see the trailers before they came out, you probably went, spent money on a ticket, and maybe you watched Avatar one time, but then didn't watch it again. Now, I'm pretty sure whoever's interested in Avengers Doomsday is gonna go watch Spider-Man Brand New Day. If not everybody, a good amount of people. So this is a good plan, and I think it works a little bit better for us fans, but also at the same time, Spider-Man is the most popular character in superhero history. There's top 3 are Spider-Man, Superman, Batman. Spider-Man is definitely one of the most popular, if not the most popular. So, and a lot of kids go see Spider-Man as well because of Spidey and Friends and everything like that. So they know a lot of people are going to go watch Spider-Man Brand New Day. So they're going to have millions of eyes on Avengers Doomsday if they put that trailer in front of it. So that makes a lot of sense. However, there's a second part to this report that states the trailer would have its online debut at D23 in August of this year. Now, don't fret, it's actually not that far away. So Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out July 31st, 2026. In 2026, D23 takes place August 14th through the 16th. So literally just 2 weeks after, which is more than the 1 week that we had to wait for those other trailers that they put in front of Avatar 3. But also keep in mind, CinemaCon is coming up as well, and I'm sure we're going to get something as far as Spider-Man is concerned, definitely, because they gave us something last year. But also I'm assuming Avengers Doomsday, they're going to have some type of marketing for as well. And also keep in mind that we're probably going to get other promotions for the movie from Marvel Studios in other ways before we get the official teaser trailer, much like they did the infamous chair video, and we're coming up on that year anniversary since they released that, plus the trailers that they've released online, plus some things that the Russo brothers have done and Robert Downey Jr. We're gonna get more for it, but as far as that official teaser trailer being released, this is the rumor. I state rumor because it's obviously not confirmed, but this is the rumor that's going around right now about when and how Marvel Studios plans to release it. So let me know what you think about that plan. Do you think it's a good plan from Marvel? In the comments down below. Now moving on to this next one. This is coming from a few different insiders, so it seems like this is coming from some source that they probably all have in common. They're probably all getting this news from the same source. It does seem a little vague, but mostly what is reported here is that Loki is going to have a small role in Avengers Doomsday. Coming from Daniel RPK, coming from Night Gambit, Majestic, all of them are talking about it. Daniel simply says he has a small role. Night Gambit says reportedly he will only have 1 scene. And Majestic says the most important god in the entire multiverse, Loki, has only 2 scenes in the movie. He appears with Steve and his family, and then at the end of the film, he won't die and will be a key in Avengers Secret Wars. I will say that is something that I think a lot of reports have had in common as well. And not just today, but in the past also, Loki is going to have a pretty important role in Avengers Secret Wars, which if we kind of zoom out a little bit and realize that Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are the same story, it does make sense that he would have a major role in Secret Wars. And much like Infinity War didn't feature some heroes like Hawkeye and Ant-Man, they did go on to have major roles to play in Avengers Endgame. So I think we're going to get a lot of that for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, because you have to think about how many people are in Avengers Doomsday. It's a lot of people. A lot of people. So not everybody is going to get a ton of screen time. Plus, not to mention, Doctor Doom is the main character, and then you're going to have your good main characters that are the heroes. And I'm assuming Steve Rogers, Captain America is one. We're going to have Thor. I'm sure the Fantastic Four are going to get a lot of the spotlight. And then, of course, the X-Men. And then we have Wakanda and the Talcans. There are a lot of people in this movie. So we're going to have characters that get more spotlight than the others, but it doesn't mean that they aren't going to have important roles to play. As far as Loki is concerned, I think what people are hearing is that he's not in a lot of scenes. Right? That seems to be the commonality between these reports. Loki has a small role. I think small role simply means he's not in a lot of scenes, because I think his role in all of this is incredibly huge. Think about it this way. We've heard, and this was even reported here by Majestic, we've heard that Loki actually took Steve Rogers and put him in the 828 universe with the Fantastic Four. We've been hearing a lot about the Fantastic Four deleted post-credit scene, or what they originally had planned for a post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four, showing Steve Rogers in the 828 universe. Well, according to reports that have come out from insiders, Loki is the one who grabbed Steve Rogers and put him in that universe. So showing us in Avengers Doomsday, Loki doing that, that's really important. That's big. That's him putting Steve Rogers with the Fantastic Four. And if Doom is from that universe with Doctor Doom, we have heard that in the Fantastic Four ship that we see at the end in the post-credit scene in the Thunderbolts, both Doctor Doom and Steve Rogers are in that ship with the Fantastic Four going to the 616 universe. That's huge. If Loki puts Steve Rogers there, that's incredibly important. It might be quick, but it's still very important. So again, when I hear small role, I don't think he's not that important. I think he probably doesn't get that much screen time. And again, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. A lot is happening in Avengers Doomsday. We have the Fantastic Four interacting with Doom. Then he's going to interact with Steve Rogers. They're going to go to the 616 universe. It looks like Wakanda and Talakan are involved in a really big way. That's obviously going to have to take some time as well. Then they go to the X-Men universe. That's taking a lot of time. Loki isn't in any of these scenes. He is sitting on his throne. And that's a lot that has to happen. Then, not to mention the battles that have to happen. The Avengers versus the X-Men, Worlds versus Worlds. We have the report that the opening scene is going to be Spider-Man versus Wolverine. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Loki's not going to be in that. I would like to see a TVA door open up and grab Spider-Man. And I'd love to see the TVA do that to a lot of different universes, to a lot of different heroes, them popping in, just grabbing heroes and saving them, to eventually go on and fight Doctor Doom. And that's what I kind of think is going to happen. They're not going to show us this all at first, I don't think, but I think they reveal in Secret Wars that while the Avengers and the X-Men and the Wakandans and the Fantastic Four, the Talcans, while they're all doing all of this stuff to fight, well, one each other, but eventually, obviously, Doctor Doom, when they realize he's the villain, they're going to show us that Loki was actually doing things in the background all along. He was recruiting heroes so that they could fight in Avengers Secret Wars. But ultimately, I do think Doctor Doom wins. That seems to be what most people think at this point in time, because we've seen the leaked concept art for Avengers Secret Wars. We've seen Doctor Doom on his throne, and Doctor Strange on his side, and Vanessa Kirby Sue Storm with Franklin Richards on his side. He's on a throne. People are in front of him. He's obviously the Emperor. So it looks like we get God Emperor Doom, and he creates Battleworld. In order for him to do that, it looks like, based on everything Marvel has told us, he has to dethrone Loki. So that's going to be a pretty big scene in Avengers Doomsday. Again, it might be quick because Doom is probably going to defeat all of the other heroes to get to Loki. They're probably protecting him, but ultimately at the end, he'll get to him. And I think he will probably defeat him. I don't want to say decently easy, because I think Loki is incredibly important and he's one of my favorite characters in the MCU, but I do think he dethrones him, right? And I do think, because we've been hearing this a lot recently, Doctor Doom actually takes powers from some heroes, and that's how he becomes a god, essentially. And I think he might take some powers from Loki at the end, but we've seen the official art for Doctor Doom that Marvel has put on display, where he has two emblems on his chest, and one of them is Thor's hammer, and the other one is Captain Marvel's star. I think he probably takes those powers, or takes powers from Thor and Captain Marvel, and that's why he has those emblems. They are harnessing the power, and they're putting it into his suit. So by the time he gets to Loki, he's going to be incredibly powerful. And then I think he takes some power from Loki as well. And that's how he becomes the true God Emperor, all-powerful Doom in Avengers Secret Wars, because we haven't heard much about the Beyonders. It almost kind of seems like they're going to make Loki take the Beyonders' place in some way, shape, or form, the Beyonder or Beyonders, depending which Secret Wars we're talking about here, which Secret Wars they're going to adapt in the film, which I believe is probably just both. But that's going to be a huge scene where Doom gets to Loki's throne, and I think that is actually when the multiverse collapses, gets completely destroyed, and Doctor Doom creates Battleworld. But then in Secret Wars, like I said, I hope he would have been kind of collecting heroes throughout a bunch of different universes throughout this entire thing, and they revealed that in Secret Wars. Even if that isn't the case, I do believe Loki, just with his knowledge, everything that he's seen, and still the power that he has, will play an incredibly important role in Avengers Secret Wars. I don't think he dies. I know people are worried, oh my gosh, he has one scene, he has two scenes, I've seen it online, he's going to die, Doom's going to kill him pretty early on in the movie. I don't think that's the case. I think he makes it to the end of the movie and Doom strips him of his powers or weakens him by it. And then we go into Secret Wars, where he has a pretty big comeback with the rest of the Avengers. And when I say Avengers, I mean everyone. X-Men, Fantastic Four, everyone's under the Avengers umbrella. So that's what I think. But go ahead and let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Again, keep in mind, there's so many people in this movie. A lot of people aren't going to have many scenes, but that doesn't mean that they're going to have small roles. I still think everyone's going to be pretty important. So let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Avengers Doomsday or Marvel news. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.